Welcome to ATEC Training's Quick Start video series. Today we're going to be featuring model 840C. This is our Power Window Systems trainer. This is an excellent tabletop trainer that simulates an entire power window system that you can do instructor-led demonstrations. You can allow your students to explore and get a greater understanding of how a traditional power window circuit works, as well as perform some diagnostics and troubleshooting on power window motor circuitries and systems. So if you want to learn more about this, let's get your operations manual out and we'll get started. To start the diagnostic process, students will begin by utilizing the user interface. It's located in the top right-hand corner of the trainer, and it's going to default into a setting that says Enter Fault Code. If this unit is hooked up to the CMP, it will ask the student for their student ID number first, and then it will ask the instructor to insert a fault code. But since we're running in standalone mode, we're going to be able to insert a fault directly. And so the instructor can utilize the operations manual to determine what faults they want their students to cover. And today we're going to be looking at fault number 8. So I'm going to simply press 8 pound, and then it's going to let me know that the fault has been inserted, and then I can press 1 to clear it out. So now the fault's in there. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. The first step in the diagnostic process is always to verify the customer complaint. We've entered our fault code in using our user interface. We definitely have our ignition switch on and in the run position, and our system power is on, and our green LED is lit up, letting us know that our fuse block is receiving power. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and test the window system to see if anything is working. So I don't have any action there. No action there, no action there, and no action for my master switch. So this is a pretty unique problem in that whatever the issue is, it's affecting the entire power window system. If you remember from our previous video that we did on this, when we powered up the system, we had multiple LED lights that came on. System power, our power down here to our fuse block. We had a red LED up here to let us know our accessory relay came on, and we had a green LED down here to let us know that our power windows fuse, which is our main power feed for all of our windows, was operational. When we insert this fault code in here, we noticed that this LED light went out and our entire system went down. So without even having to use a wiring diagram, I got a pretty good idea of what's going on here. But with that being said, we do supply students with a wiring diagram that's available to help them diagnose exactly what's going on. So if we want to do a couple quick checks with our DVOM, we can do that. I'm going to get my leads out here. I'm going to go right in here to my ground, and I'm just going to simply see, am I even receiving any power up to this window fuse? And if I look right there, I got 13.76 volts at the fuse itself. Now let's check on the other side. That one put in there, that tip jack plugged in, and I've got 0.005 volts. So that tells me that something's going on here. That tells me that this fuse is potentially blown. So if we want to look and see what if the fuse is actually blown, we can go and move our meter to check for resistance. We can go on one side of the fuse and down to the other side of the fuse. There should be continuity between those 2 points, and there is not. So the fuse is blown. Well, I could get you another fuse to put right in there, and I can tell you right now, that's not going to fix the problem. And I always teach my students that when you have a blown fuse, replacing the fuse is usually not the permanent fix. You've got to do a little bit more thorough diagnosis. So using my wiring diagram that I have on the side, I was able to trace down my power feed and find that 30 amp fuse feeds the window switch for the passenger side, and that is going to be spot A in the connector. So if I go up here and I look, I can find spot A. Here's my passenger switch motor. Spot A is right here. And if I go from spot A down here, I should have continuity, which I do, and I should have had that disconnected to isolate that out. So I do have continuity between these 2 points, so I know the wire is not broken, but what if this wire is chafed and touching the chassis? How would I go ahead and diagnose or troubleshoot that? Well, I would want to take my lead from here and check it to chassis ground to see if there's any continuity. So we know the wire is good, or at least has continuity from here to here, but is the integrity actually good? Does the wire not, have complete isolation from the rest of the ground circuit? And if I touch here on chassis ground, I'll notice that I got 9.9 ohms between that point and here. And this should be OL. There should be no continuity between this pin right here and ground. If we do that, what we have here is what we call a short to ground, and it's before the load. So when we have a short to ground before the load, we're most likely going to burn up or blow the fuse that's protecting the circuit. Because when we bypass the load, we draw excessive amount of current. We have excessive amount of current draw. That's what causes the fuses to blow. So we had to take this diagnosis a little bit further and a little bit more in depth than just simply saying the fuse is blown. So at this point in time, if we were hooked up to CMP, our students could punch in their answers right here on the keypad, and then that will be recorded by the master computer that's operating the entire ATEC lab system. If you're running in standalone mode, at this point you would want to raise your hand and ask for the instructor to come over and explain to the instructor what you found, and he will verify with you whether you got the answer correct or not. Thank you for joining us today in our Quick Start video series featuring the 840C Power Window System Trainer. If you enjoyed our content today and would like to receive more training on any of our equipment, you can visit us at atectraining.com, and please be sure to check out our other social media pages on LinkedIn and Facebook, and definitely check out any of our other additional videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.